Welcome back, my enlightened ones. Great to see everybody back again. Thanks for stopping by my channel. And if you're new here, thanks for stumbling across us. And as always, I'm happy to have you guys aboard. If you can just kind of like and subscribe so I can get this content out there to other people who are looking or like-minded who wish to join us. So how is everybody tonight? I got my cup of coffee rocking over here. We will be discussing my home cleansing bottles. This is a secret that I've kept secret for a long time, and I am willing to share it with you guys. So I'm pretty excited about that. So let me jump over to chat real quick and just say hi and see who's in here. Penny, Julie, hello. If I respond in chat at all, which I probably won't because I talk too much, I'm coming through as Sarah for some reason, even though it's my StreamYard, so go figure. So Julie, welcome. Jasmine, my beautiful mod, welcome back, sweetness. If somebody can send a link maybe to Adam, because Adam, I think, wanted to be here, but he doesn't get the messages for some reason. Meg, great to see you. Welcome. Great. Welcome to the channel. I'm so excited to share some great things with you guys tonight. This is stuff that's very near and dear to my heart because, as I said, I do automatic writings with wonderful beings. And these wonderful beings worked with me to figure out how to create these bottles. Not only do they cleanse your house, you can actually trap negative entities. And I'm going to say non-human. You don't want to trap a human in here. Lord, we gotta let them be free. So anyway, but it just absorbs negativity from your home. This is one here that I am holding up. Has a few ingredients in it, but basically the bottle itself is just the housing for this little crystal here. This crystal is doing all the work. Now, remember what I said about programming crystals. So the first thing you want to do, besides getting a bottle, I prefer using sauce bottles, hot sauce bottles. You can actually buy them. I believe they come like 12, or is it 24? I think there's 12 in a box, and they're reasonably priced. They're like $1 a bottle. They do come with these lovely shrink caps, which I have used when I contained something really negative and I wanted to bring it home with me. And you can either boil water, which will shrink the cap, and dip it in, or my favorite way is just take a lighter and just go around it really quick and it shrinks the cap right up. So, but what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be doing a home cleansing bottles. This is also based off of old beliefs too, which is also known as a witch bottle. These were created too to keep witches away. It's not working. Okay. So anyway, so these are really, really wonderful bottles for cleansing the negative energy in your house. So to start with, the first thing you want to do is have a crystal. Okay. So as you heard from me, I make holy water. I take my crystals when I buy them and I soak them in the holy water for a good week in the sunshine. Okay. And also the nighttime as well. And what this does is it cleanses any negative energy, because crystals are like salt. They absorb. Salt is a crystal. It absorbs energies. And I love quartz. This is my main two crystal for going to for the bottles. And the reason why is because it's very easy to program them. They are multifunctional. This is what I call the generic of all stones, because whatever property, spiritual property I want to bring into the magics that I'm working that day, I can use intent. You just saw a little spirit shoot right over here right over there. So anyway, so spirit's going to start coming into, they're very interested when I teach. So do keep your eye out for little zippy zoos that go by. So anyway, so as I'm saying, quartz crystals are one of my favorite because you can program them to do anything and you can put any intent into them. They're amazing. So these have been charged in holy water, as I said. Also, too, when I'm not using them, another preferred way as well is setting it on salt. Just leaving the crystal, just leave it for a couple of days over salt. Salt is wonderful. Salt will absorb the negativity out of it, and leave it minty fresh again. So that's the first thing you want to do is I buy my crystals, in case you're wondering. I do buy them in bulk. Chris, in case you're here, hi Chris, welcome. So I buy them in bulk on Amazon, but you do want to make sure that you are getting real crystal, because a lot of places will sell you fake crystals. And the way you can tell the difference between a real crystal and a fake one is by taking a lighter to it. If you take a lighter to this crystal, it should not do anything to this crystal except heat the crystal up. The other synthetic crystals, when you light them, they will burn. You will actually see scorch marks on the crystal itself. So do make sure, do pay a little extra for the quality of crystal you want. But like I said, quartz is great because quartz is very economically feasible and you get more bang for your buck, so to speak. So the bottle, the crystal is doing the work. So the first thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to program this crystal. Again, I put it in my less dominant hand, okay, and my power hand, which is the hand I write with and to do things with and navigate through traffic with, giving the bird. So anyway, that is your power hand. So you're going to put that one on top with the intent. Again, you want to connect with the crystal first. It's just courteous. There is a consciousness to these beings. That's why you can program them to do certain things for you. Go do my bidding. Just kidding. So, but anyway, hello, beautiful crystal. I wish to work with you, and if you can please absorb all negativity and hold it within you, and I promise every day I will cleanse you and make it all better. So anyway, all right, so basically I just programmed the crystal. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to drop the crystal in the bottle. So again, it's not the bottle capturing the entity. It is actually the crystal doing the work, okay? So before we get too far into this, again, I want to jump over to comments really quick and just see who else is here. Ash, hi, welcome Ash. I'm glad you can make it. Great to see you. Okay, and Julie and Meg and Shane is here and Jasmine, and I know Penny's in here too. Carrie, I believe, is in here as well. I just don't see her because I'm not over in YouTube right now. So, okay, so here we go. Making home blessing bottles. Okay, so these little creatures can be used a few different ways. One is the way I'm teaching it to you guys tonight is just to take the bottle, uncap the bottle, hold the string so the string doesn't fall in. The string is just a trigger. You can make these bottles without having a string in it. It gets exciting when you actually see the string fall into the bottle. Sometimes this will happen. You'll see it happen before your eyes. I do have a video I'm going to be sharing with you guys. And I'm also have SLS footage as well of me binding an entity into the crystal going into the bottle. You're going to see a green entity that it's going to go haywire trying to pull it away from the bottle. But again, that crystal is such high power, it has no chance but to go into that crystal. And you actually see the entity get pulled in and it disappears. So that's pretty cool. So I'm going to be sharing that as well. How did I come about these lovely idea? As I said, I talk to lovely beings. I had a negative attachment about 25 years ago, and it really kicked my butt. And it was really, really bad. And that's when I discovered the angels and brought them into my life. And of course, you know, nothing brings you back faster to God than a demon will, or something negative. So I remember seeing in the South, these are bottle trees. They're usually blue bottles. They're bottle trees. This was actually a tradition or a superstition brought over from Africa. The Africans believed it was usually slave people that were being held in slavery. They believed that negative spirits roamed at night, and by putting these bottles in the trees, as morning approaches, the spirits are looking for a place to hide. So they go into the bottles because they're blue and they're kind of darker in color, and they hide in the bottles. But what happens is during the daytime when the sun comes out, it actually hits such high frequency into the bottle and it blasts to the negative spirit back to which it came, Tartarus, hell, whatever you want to call it, or the people next door. Okay, so again, if you don't have a tree, another way that you can actually create it, placing bottles over tree branches or tying them to limbs, is a spiritual act rooted in voodoo and witchcraft. The bottles would often be tied to trees near a crossroads or a prominent location in order to capture evil spirits. So you saw there, it was actually made with rebarb. They actually just bent it down and twisted it, and then you just put the bottles on top as well. Now, my automatic writing I had with, yes, A.A. Michael, Archangel Michael, he told me a story. This story consisted of King Solomon. King Solomon had a slave that worked for him, but it was his favorite slave. He would tell stories to this young child. He would spend moments with this child. It was almost like a son to him. He noticed that his slave slash son would come to work, working at the castle. He would come and he would be exhausted, and he would be peaked and looking emaciated, like he was gray in color and not feeling so well. And King Solomon asked him, "My dear child, what is going on?" And the child presented him with the facts that a demon is coming every night and sucking his thumb, of all things, but he's sucking his thumb and he's sucking the energy in his life force from this child. So King Solomon called to the angels, and Archangel Michael came in with an iron ring. Iron is another thing to control evil spirits. I actually keep iron by my front door to keep things coming in that I don't want in my house. He gave him presented him with a ring, and on this ring, okay, is actually a form of pentagram or pentacle, okay? If you get into and you read about King Solomon, you will learn about the lesser seals of Solomon. In fact, the pentagram actually was created by King Solomon to control demons. Another pentagram, or this is the major Solomon seals here. This one I actually have upstairs on the door to the attic. This is actually to control demonics, and I'm not wanting them to do my bidding or anything. I just want them to obey me, so the lovely spirits in the house that want to coexist here all get along oakley dokley. So that's the only reason why we do this. So again, this is actually one of my spirit bottles. I did capture a very nasty entity. I have many of these bottles that are actually stored upstairs in the room we do not speak of. But you can see the K2 meter is totally tacked out here. So this was actually a higher level entity that we did capture and contained in this bottle, and I still have it, and it is still contained upstairs. So at this moment, I am going to share a video, okay? And on this video, it first is going to start out with this little green, it's the bottle, and this little green figure is kind of be fighting with the bottle, okay? You can't hear my words, okay? I'm going to hush my music here just for a moment because I believe there is music. There we go. I believe there is music with this video. So, okay, explain as we go. So here you see the entity I'm actually telling it, I bind you to the crystal within this bottle. You have no power here. And I'm just repeating it over and over and over again. And as you can see, it's struggling. The K2 meter is not going off because I'm drawing its energy into the crystal right now. So I'm weakening it. Plus the things that are in the bottle that we're going to be going over here in a moment also contain it. Now you can see that the entity has been pulled inside the bottle and is gone. Now watch the string. This is actually Shane doing this. See the string? It just went in by itself. So that's more of a trigger. This is Sarah at work. She was being jumped by something in the freezer of all things. So I brought her in this bottle and she captured it in the bottle. The bottle moves here because the entity is trapped inside trying to get out. She's going to pick it up. Somebody told me that, well, there's a magnet there. I'm sorry. That plastic table is about a 1/4 inch thick. The magnet would have fallen. So, that's not true. But anyway, I just wanted to prove that these lovely little bottles do actually work. So let's get back to them, shall we? So again, we have the crystal with the program that I put into it about pulling in negativity, protecting my home, keeping us safe. And in turn, I will cleanse and clear the crystal, okay, every day. And I didn't say charge. I said cleanse and clear, because you do not have to charge crystals. You just need to cleanse the energies of them so they go back to their natural oscillation processes with the earth's energies, the Schumann resonance, if you want to look that up. Okay, so now we have the crystal in the bottle. I can actually use the bottle just as it is and stick it around my house. But why make the crystal work harder than it has to? So now I'm going to put items into the bottle, and this is where my secrets come into play, okay? So when the entity starts getting pulled into the crystal, these things are going to neutralize the energy of the being, so it easily gets sucked into the crystal and it's done and that's it. And it also too maintains it in the crystal by having these certain properties in here. Another thing that you can put, I purchased these are little benediction metals here. I had it earlier. There. That's a benediction metal. Saint Benedict actually controlled demons. So, hey, why not? Let's pop that puppy in the bottle. The other thing is that you want a form of entanglement in here. And what I mean by this is there's certain rules, in case you didn't know this, that negative spirits and some spirits have to follow. For instance, grain. If grain or anything gets spilt, they have to stop and count the pieces on the floor. Why do you think when you spill salt, you throw it over your shoulder? The salt, now they're on the floor counting the specks of salt while you get on your merry way, okay? That's why they throw rice at weddings. So the bad things stay behind counting the grains of rice while the bride and groom get away for a lovely honeymoon. Okay, so grain is another thing. So that's something else that we can actually put into the bottle. There's certain herbs, sandalwood, which is also part of dragon's blood, because it's created, dragon's blood is made from sandalwood. This is a very powerful herb for banishment, protection. So that's another great thing. And again, you can substitute. If you don't have certain things, you have intent. That's all you need is intent. You can put your intent into this. Like, for instance, I use cat's claw. Let's see, here's my cat's claw. All right, this is cat's claw. Okay, it's actually it's like shredded bark. This is for exorcisms. This is for banishment. Believe it or not, I drink cat's claw tea. It actually helps with digestive issues and all that lovely stuff. So cat's claw kind of makes a mess. But so this is cat's claw here tonight. But say I didn't have cat's claw. If you do arts and crafts, I guarantee you probably have some moss hanging around your house, right? So why not stick the moss, this is my little poker, in the bottle. Okay, so this is my entanglement. So one of the rules is a spirit, if they see a string, and this is how dream catchers work, okay? If they see a string, they have to follow it from end to end, okay? You do not want a knot in it. No knots. Okay. A dream catcher, a true dream catcher will not be knotted. It will have beads and it will have feathers, but it will not be knotted. The beads and feathers are for the things to get tangled up in. And then you hang it in the window in the morning. The sun's rays come in and it purifies, gets rid of any negativity, it transmutes it, okay, the energy to positive energy, and that's how a dream catcher works. Same with the God's eye. We've all made one as kids. You take two sticks like this and you put it together and then you start wrapping it with the yarn. We've all made this. This is from Africa, again, from Africa. They believe that a spirit will go, and again, no knots in it. They follow the string from end and they get tangled up in it, and then you hang it in a tree and then the morning sun again. So it's kind of all the same scenario here. Getting this together, Archangel Michael explained to me how to kind of create these bottles. And again, my concern was, oh, what if the crystal breaks and it comes out? What's it going to do to me? Is it going to come back to me or whatever? And my answer was, why would it, Catherine? You know how to capture it. So that's pretty simple. All right. So the next thing I want to put in the bottle, which really helps knock down the energy of spirit again, is salt. Salt is very, very lovely. And again, remember, this is a crystal. Treat it as you would as a crystal. Hello, beautiful crystal. I need you to pull in negativity to you and make it weak and take its power away. Okay, so talk to the salt. Like I said, treat it as you would your crystals. My favorite salt to use, this is lava salt from Hawaii. Okay, and in this lava salt is actually burnt coconut crushed, along with salt as well. So the black crushed coconut, which gives it the black color, this is the banishment part. This is the exorcism part of the salt. What does blackness do? Black absorbs. It sucks. Think of a black hole. It sucks. Okay, so what I want to do is, this is Shirley's. I'm going to take her itty bitty little tiny, and I'm going to take a spoon and put it into my funnel. I only want about a teaspoon's worth, and I'll lift it up so you can actually see it go into the bottle and shake it. And so now I have my black exorcism salt in there. Okay. So the next things that are great to put in there, I like to usually put 3 thorns. And again, this is where my Catholicism comes in. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I bless one each. Father, Son, Holy Ghost. I don't have thorns this time. So, and I'm glad this is a happy accident, because I'm going to show you how you can substitute. All right, so here we have our beautiful whole cloves. Okay, I have 3 of them on the top here. I am going to take them in my hands. I'm going to take one at a time. In the name of the Father, drop it in the bottle. In the name of the Son, drop it in the bottle. In the name of the Holy Ghost, I bless these, and I drop it into the bottle. Now, keep in mind, everything has a frequency to it. This is why I use red string. Red string has a frequency that negative things like. It's the color of blood. Okay, so I use what I need to use. Another thing that I would put in is rose. Again, this is Mother Mary I'm putting in here. It's the sanctity of love, which is rose. Another great thing is when I get sage and I buy it in bulk, and I rip the stems out because I can't burn the stems so well on the charcoal. I still keep the stems because I either throw them in the fire pit outside. So when we're sitting out there, it blesses our area, or I save it for, again, the bottle and just drop it in the bottle. I'm only going to put in one. Another great thing to put in, eye of newt, believe it or not, is actually mustard seed, but sometimes a witch will substitute eye of newt. It's lavender flower blossoms. So the lavender flower blossoms, I love lavender because you can eat it, you can take a bath in it. It aids in psychic protection, it aids in psychic dreams, and so forth and so on. So again, I'm going to put my little funnel back on the top of the bottle. And I'm probably only going to do like maybe a little about a half a teaspoon or so in there. Call it good. So lavender is another great thing. And again, sometimes less is more. You don't have to fill this bottle up with a bunch of herbs and a bunch of things. The crystal is going to amplify the properties in the magic in the herbs, and it's all going to work together so magically. How it works. I basically want to make a mess on the bottom of the bottle, because once I put the string in the bottle and the thing follows the string to the end, it's going to get tangled up in this, okay? And at that point, my crystal's already starting to pull it into its little body, okay? So now this is when the string usually falls into the bottle. When they realize they're stuck or they're getting stuck, they desperately try to come out of the bottle, and that's usually when the string falls in. They're going back up the string and the string falls in because they have an etheric tail that is tied to that crystal now. So basically, when you're done with these, you can take the crystal out of the bottle and there won't be any negative entity in the bottle itself. Like I said, it's all contained in the crystal. The bottle is just pretty to look at. And it also houses all the things that I'm using to help me to absorb and contain these entities into them. Another great thing to use, this is worm's wood. Wormswood is great for exorcisms and banishment and so forth. Again, I probably just do like a little pinch worth. I can't even get my spoon down there. Oh no. All right, let's see how much of a mess I make here. Okay, that's a mess. All right, so we'll put a couple of those in there. Get stuck. Yeah. All right. There we go. So that's enough. I don't need a whole bunch of it in there. All right. So basically, the bottle now it's basically set to go. The only thing I need to do now is make my trigger for it. As I said, I always use red. Believe it or not, I'm a natural girl. This is cotton. This is actually cotton, but you can use embroidery thread. You can actually just use a little tiny, thin little piece of thread. I like something that's a little bit bigger because it has more weight to it. So my rule of thumb is I want to put the string in the bottle, and I want the string setting on the items inside the bottle. So I want to give it a little slack. The other thing is put your finger over the bottle and shake it, and that entangles the string further into the items. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is get to my scissors. So I want to leave it, and I use this as a measuring property here at the neck, the bottleneck of the bottle. And the reason why I do this is because sometimes when an entity starts playing, you'll see the string slowly start going into the bottle. It's not always like that quick and swoop that you saw in the video there. So basically, if there's an area in your house that you feel seems to be darker than usual, or you feel with your solar plexus, close your eyes, take those 3 deep breaths, center yourself for a moment and feel. Just close your eyes and feel where the dark. This is how I just know where darkness is hiding in houses. I feel it even before I get there, and I can tell you where it is even before I get there. It's so crazy how it works. It just takes practice. You all have the ability to do it. Everybody has the ability to do it. It's just practice. So anyway, so I would take this bottle. Closets are really crappy places. Spirits like to use them as gateways, and they come and go out of closets. So putting this in a closet also too, with the intent of closing the gateway in the closet. The best way to close a gateway, push light into it with intent. Use your prominent hand, your dominant hand, and push that light into the area where you feel it's swirling or where you feel that there's an opening. And even if there isn't one, it doesn't hurt to close something that's already closed. You can't hurt any. It's better to be safe, right? So you close it, put the light in, and then counterclockwise close it, picturing getting smaller and smaller. I usually do the sign of the crucifix over it because that is my go-to when it comes to fighting negativity. But again, blessed in the name of love and light. Nothing negative can come through here ever again. And the whole idea of putting light, and this is another tip from AA dude, Archangel Michael, is he told me when I'm closing my gateways, because I always used to close my gateways and then seal them, he says, always put the light in first, because when you put the light in, when you close a gateway and don't put the light in, you're only sealing it from one side. That's the side you're on. When you put the light in and then seal it, you're sealing it from both sides, because nothing negative is going to come towards that light on the other side of the mirror or the other side of the TV or whatever. So it's beautiful to push that light in, because it reflects them back. Because if they go into the light, it transforms them and raises them up, as a crystal does for us. So anyway, so put this puppy in a closet, put it in the office space, maybe a room. Usually spirits hold up in rooms that are not used that often in your home. That's why things like the attic space, and they like the second floor, because when we first moved in, we stayed mainly on the first floor because this place was so crazily haunted. Okay, poltergeist activity, cupboards opening, it was insane. So anyway, if you by chance see the string inside the bottle, okay, or partially going into the bottle, just assume something's in there. Again, it's not gonna, you don't have to run and get a cap for it right away. It's not gonna come creeping back out of the bottle, because the crystal and everything within the bottle is containing it. Cap it. Take it to the window in the morning where you get bright sunlight. Set it on the windowsill and leave it there for the day. The sun will zap it, as it does the God's eye, as it does the dream catcher. Okay, it will zap it back or transmute the energy of it, cleanses the crystal back out. And then guess what? You can uncap it again, and you don't have to pull the string back out if you don't want to. But if by chance you want to go fishing, go fishing. You can pull the string back out of the bottle. It takes a little talent. But anyway, and nothing is going to be trapped in that crystal any longer. So you can reuse this bottle over and over and over again. I've given these to people as wedding presents. In fact, I gave one to my son and his lovely bride for their, as a one home cleansing thing. So another thing that you can do too with the bottle is, when you're smudging your house, this is a great tool to use. And this is how I capture negative things in land cleansings in people's houses, is I put it in the room way away from me. Okay, usually have the window cracked, because that way the good things can go and get out just for a moment while I'm doing my thing. Okay, I leave this by the window. I smudge from the opposite side of the house with the sage, and I work towards the bottle. So I'm pushing everything towards this bottle. So basically it's like sweeping towards the bottle. Okay, that's another way to actually use this bottle. Another way, and I do this, is, and Shane does this, Shane's really good at doing this. He will walk around the house and I bind all negative non-human entities into this crystal. You have no power here. And he walks around, and then all of a sudden the string will just fall in, and then we cap it and we call it done. You can always check the contents. If you have an EMF reader or a static reader, you can actually leave it next to the bottle. I will say that sometimes it takes a good 20 minutes to a half hour for the entity to get enough strength back up that it does affect the meter. At first it doesn't, because it's getting nailed by everything in this bottle. So it puts it in that weakened state, and then it panics and says, oh crap, I got to get out of here. And then that's when you'll get the K2 hits, but it can't get out. You can be affected though. If something really, really bad goes into one of these bottles, you can be affected by it. It's not coming out of the bottle, but it can, what's called, project energy to you. Malcolm does this. He's very good at it. He's quite talented at it. Even though Malcolm is contained in the case, you heard him last night Sarah she heard knocking under the floor, not saying it was Malcolm, but every time she was talking to him and asking him to do certain things would happen. But again, it can be other entities in the house just kind of joining the bandwagon and, hey, let's scare Sarah. So anyway, but Malcolm can, if you get near him, I spray around his coffin with holy water and salt before we go up there. And this is just so it puts that barrier up, because if not, he can project energy out far enough that it will make us nauseous. It will. I got a headache from him last night, actually, just from being up there briefly, just in the moment, because I was helping Sarah do a few things. So anyway, so this is my dissertation on my spirit bottles, or I used to call them demon bottles, also known as witch bottles, or whatever you want to call them. Back to the story of King Solomon, just to end it.
Show the video again.
Show the video again. Okay, so let me remove this. Again, here's the entity. I bind you into the crystal as my words are spoken. I command it so. You have no power here. So basically, this is what I'm repeating. Might say the Lord's Prayer in there. Anything I can say or do to weaken the thing so it gets sucked in completely. If you're actually watching the real video on this, you actually hear me say at this point, done. I can actually feel when it's almost like a pop. This was at Shane's house. This is how we met Shane to begin with. He had a very haunted house, and I taught him how to make these bottles. This is Sarah at work here again. She had one jumping her in the freezer at work. She caught it. This was actually a trickster demon. It's very powerful. It actually presented itself as a child. Please don't capture me. Right before she pulled it in, and then the bottle moved like that. So basically, it's the same contents that I went over, maybe a few different things, might be a few properties, but it all works the same. It's the crystal doing the work. So back to King Solomon. So King Solomon, Archangel Michael told him about how he could capture demons and capture them. He actually kept them in vessels, clay jars, or some of them were golden jars, and he kept them in the castle. He actually put these demonic beings to work and made him build his kingdom. And then the story supposedly went, everything's always 40 days or 40 nights. Supposedly somebody broke into the basement and found all these vessels and broke them open, thinking there was jewels and lovely things inside, and there weren't. It was these negative things inside. So they ruled, I guess, the kingdom for 40 days until King Solomon got them all under control again and recaptured them all and commanded them all. So anyway, I do not use negative things to do my bidding. I learned from them. I share my information with you. You learn from me, hopefully pay it forward. This is how we roll here. I'm not disrespectful. I don't hurt things. In fact, I try to transmute negative things to positive things. I've actually crossed things over that people didn't think that you could cross over. So it's really quite amazing how it all works. Please know that we do have Sinister Four Winds Investigation on Facebook. This is our paranormal channel. I also talk a lot about classes in Wicca here as well. Also, too, YouTube Sinister Streams. This is our sister channel. Actually, it's more the mama channel, and I'm the sister or the baby. So this is my daughter's channel, Sarah Sinister. All our paranormal stuff in documentation and evidence and amazing cases and amazing spirits and amazing spooksters are there. So please come and join us. We'd love to have you. And once again, I'd like to thank you all for coming, all my beautiful friends, and much love and light. And remember, you keep on shining that light, and shine, shine, shine. And we'll see you next week. And I think we're going to do, what are we doing next week? I think I want to do protection bags or satchels that you can put around your home to add more barriers. This time of year, it doesn't hurt to have a little extra more protection. So anyway, again, shine, 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 guys. Have a great night. Bye-bye.